Good evening, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today's topic is water distribution, economical ways to move water around your farm. And usually, if you're going to be running animals on your land, whatever size it is, you got to have water. Animals are 70% water, and the higher the quality of water you can distribute across your farm, the better the animals are going to perform. And if they perform well, they're gonna do well on your farm. You're gonna make a better living. The animals have a better life and less disease. And the thing about it is, the smaller the animals, like the most picky animal on water is a baby goat. And then as you work your way up, goats, sheep, cattle, whatever, always try and provide the best water possible. Anyway, today's topic are these. This is a Philmac fitting. And I love these. I want to be, straight up front. There are people that get all in a wad about me talking about, he's got a commission, or he's got this, he's got that. I am not a Philmac distributor, all right? I'm just going to tell you what works. This is a pretty darn good product. If I was a distributor, I'd be proud to distribute these because they're an awesome fitting. Maybe I ought to talk to Philmac, I don't know. But anyway, I'm just going to show you what works, okay? This particular one that I'm showing you today is a 3/4 inch. And the way these work is you've got to have some way to get water out of your pipe, okay? I buy mine through Powerflex Fence, and I get the pipe from Powerflex too. So the pipe you can't just go down to Lowe's or Menards and get your 3/4 inch polyethylene pipe. It's called high dense HDPE is what this is called. This is a small piece right here. This is what I'm going to put in the other, and I'm going to show you how to put these together. But you've got to have a way to get the water out, okay? Now, you could buy an elbow that goes on here, and I've got one. This one would be this is a bigger one. This is for 1.5 inches. And I've got a piece of tape on that end for a reason. And then it's reduced down to a 3/4 female threads. This would be an elbow. You can buy elbows, you can buy tees, you can buy unions to fasten, 2 pieces of pipe together. That'd be a union. This would be 1.5 inch tee right here. They make them all different sizes. So this would be 1.5 inches, neck down to a 3/4 female thread, okay? I wanted to show you, here it is. So how am I going to get water out of this? Well, first of all, let's put it together. I don't want to confuse you. So this comes apart. So this is what I like about this, folks. There's no steel. This, if you bury this in the ground, there's not going to be any steel that can rust. And when you bury these in the ground, you do need to put I like, minimum 6 inch. Some people use 8 inch PVC. And basically you run a piece of pipe up to the top of the ground, depending how deep you're going to bury it. In Missouri, we can get by with 20 to 24 inches. This would be down in the ground. And I'll show you in a minute what goes in here. But so this just comes off like this, okay? And there's a green fitting in here that's got a tapered edge on it. See that? Can you see that tapered edge? Well, I'm gonna pull that out. Okay. So when you tighten this nut in my hand right here, down on your pipe, this piece here actually cuts, it makes marks. See if you can see them in there. There you go. Yeah, see those threads on the inside right there? Yeah, right there. Those actually draw down. This thing compresses down on that pipe. And in the very bottom of this, I'll pull it out of there. There it is. That's your rubber neoprene washer. And it doesn't matter which way you put that in, but it does need to go down in the bottom. Okay, so there it is. It's in the bottom. And now don't put this thing in upside down. The tapered edge comes up to the 45. That goes sticking out. Okay, so now I've got it sticking out. And now all I got to do is put my cap on. And I'm going to tighten it down, okay? Now, I don't tighten it all the way. I just got it on there like so. Now, let's say I have a 500-foot roll of pipe that I want to put on this 500-foot roll. So I'm putting a water point every 500 feet. I normally buy my rolls of pipe in 500 feet. The project that Jan and I did in Tucson, Arizona, actually it was Cochise County. This is exactly what we used, except for we ran big pipe, okay? But we necked everything down to 3/4 inch female thread. This would be a T. Let's go ahead and put this in here. So this just goes, you want to make sure before you put this down in there that you got a nice square end and there's no burrs. You don't want any burrs on the top of this. If you have a burr on here and you stick it down in there, you could cut that neoprene washer. If you cut that washer, then you've probably lost your seal. Anyway, so you put that down there. It's all the way down against that washer now. Now I'm going to take my fingers, tighten that up. Now, they recommend taking a pair of channel locks, just plain plumber's channel locks pliers, and put on here and give it a half a turn. I don't have a pair with me, but you know, I just tightened that pretty tight. Let's see if I can pull that out. Not a chance. I can't pull that out of there. Now, so I've got it put together, okay? And now, what am I gonna put in here? Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna put in there. I'm gonna grab one of these. This is the Plasson, the Quick Coupler, okay? It's already got male 3/4 inch pipe thread on there. Well, I've got female pipe threads there. So you just screw it in. Now, something that I do, I'm a little bit picky on my threads. And I had a plumber tell me you didn't have to do it. I don't know, but I don't think it hurts anything. I use this. So get you, I use a roll of Teflon tape. And this is kind of a trick doing this by myself, but there it is, okay? And I just take my pipe, my thread, or the tape, and I put it on my threads. Oh, I got an assistant, Jan. You just volunteered, honey.
Yeah.
You want to hold that for me? Hold it up so they can see it.
Okay.
Okay. And so I just take my
I feel like Vanna.
you feel like Vanna White? All right. Golly, who's the other guy?
I can't remember. I'm lucky I remember that.
What's his name? Vanna? And gosh, as long as Wheel of Fortune's been on, you'd think I'd remember. I don't watch it.
But anyway, show them how you're wrapping that. That's the main thing.
Yeah. So I'm just taking it and I go around one thickness.
But against the treads or with the treads?
Yeah, like that. So when you break it off, pull on it and it buries it down in your threads, okay? Just like so. And so now when I screw that in there, the threads are sealed with Teflon tape.
Okay.
And you just screw it in until it stops. Okay, now I've got water. I've already got water. Folks, this Plasson, oh, by the way, I'm not a Plasson dealer either. I gotta make that clear because I get people get upset if somebody thinks that I'm actually making money on something. They just freak out. I wanted to make sure that you knew that. I'm not a Plasson dealer.
But maybe we should.
Maybe we should be. People get all, they're upset. This is the male that goes down in there, okay? So the way this works, it's really slick. It works like an air hose. Let me come back here, see. So you just stick it down in there, and there's a spring. There's a spring in the bottom of this. And when I push down on this, see this little hook right here? Right there? Watch this. So when I get up close so you can watch it. Well, there. Usually this is solid, but you see what happened. There it is. There's the hook. Now, to get that off of there, let's say so the minute I stuck that down in there, this end is hooked to my trusty heavy-duty hose that I have made. And I have these made at a hydraulic shop. These are, this particular hose is 3/4 inch. Oh, it's 200. It's 200 PSI. So a normal garden hose you buy at the hardware store is not going to be anywhere close to this. This hose will last you 15 to 20 years. It's that good. But this is the male. I just plugged it in. Before you plug that in, you want to have your hose hooked to it, okay? Well, I don't know why, but when Plasson made these, that's pipe thread, okay? You've got to buy an adapter that goes from pipe thread to hose thread. This is hose thread. So you need a male on this end, and on this end you need a female that goes over that male. So you need female pipe thread to male hose thread, okay? You can buy those at any hardware store. They just screw on. And so now when I plug this in, I got water coming out of this hose, and you better have it hooked to your stock tank because you're going to have water going everywhere. So what's the other end hooked to? I'll tell you what my other end's hooked to. The most awesome water valve made for pressure that I think. And again, I'm not a dealer, but let me show you the box. There it is. That's called the Job Megaflow, folks. It's the best valve made for pressure. And the way it works is, let me take this off. This is your nut. Let me set the hose down. This is the nut that holds it on your stock tank. So you gotta, basically you drill a 3/4 inch hole through your stock tank. And it needs to be within, I like to put mine, about 3 inches, 3 to 4 inches off the bottom of the tank. On the side, on the side of the tank. You run this through your hole, and the water's gonna be coming out right here, okay? And you run that through your tank. Here's your washer, okay? The washer, let me back up. The washer goes on first. You want the rubber on the inside of your tank where the water is. Here's your nut, okay? It's got two sides, like so. And the slick side, or the solid side, is the one I put on first. And you just tighten that up, okay? Tighten that up onto your tank, and this is my float right here, okay? So it works like when the cattle drink, this float drops down. When it drops down, it lets water in. When the cattle stop drinking, the water fills up, and this float comes to the top of your tank, and it shuts the water off. So it works like when you flush your stool, same deal. Full flow. I mean, it's coming out of there as fast as you can get. If you got 60 PSI, that's how much is coming out of that orifice. And I mean, it's a heck of a valve. So what goes on here? Well, the other end of my water hose. But again, you got to buy the adapter because you got hose thread to pipe thread. So when you buy that fitting I told you, you're going to need a pipe thread. On this end, you need a pipe thread female. And on the other end of that same fitting, you need a hose thread male to go into your hose. Done. Folks, I usually keep one of these as a backup. That's for my whole farm. Because the beautiful thing about this valve and this hose, everything I'm showing you here, you only need one tank. Did you hear that? You only need one tank for your whole farm. That's it. One. I unplug it and I take this. So when I say unplug it, let me set my valve down. I unplug it by just pushing in on this. Doink. Oh, you see that? It popped right out of there. Let me think, push it in. There, it clicked that time. So you just push in, pop, it popped out. Now when it popped out, the water stopped. And then you close this. It's got a nice little cap on. Don't leave that open when you leave because stuff can get down in there. And next time you plug it in, you're going to put that debris right in your Job Megaflow valve. And that could be a cricket, it could be spider webs, it could be a toad, whatever goes down in that hole. So close it. Takes just a second. Okay, what's this cost? It must be an enormous cost of this grade. Folks, this is $14.95, the last one I bought. Now, I'm sure with inflation this went up, and maybe it's $20, I don't know. But this was $4.95. a male. I'd get 2 males, and I'll tell you why. If you break one, you're done, okay? So keep a backup. For $5, just keep a backup around. But for every water point on your farm, you want to put one of these. Now that fitting, I can't tell you exactly what it costs now. I bought this one, oh gosh, 2 or 3 years ago. But you know, a water leak is not cheap. If you're on pressurized water and you have one of these hoses, let's say you use the cheap fitting here and it busts off, and this thing's running at 65 PSI all night long, and you're on a water line that you're paying so much a gallon for, you're looking at a $200 to $300 water bill in 24 hours. So this fitting's cheap. It's very cheap. It's not going to rust. It's not going to break apart. It's just a really, really tough fitting. So anywhere you want a water point, you've got basically $15 here. And I think this fitting is the 3/4 one. I'm not even going to say it. It's probably $18 maybe. I know these big ones, I think this is 25, but you know, that's 1.5 inches. That's a big old fitting, okay? Why would you need a bigger pipe like that if you got a bigger herd? You know, if you're running a couple, 200 or 300 head, I'd probably go with a bigger pipe. I'm not gonna go with the little pipe. This little pipe though, if you got 60 PSI, and you got, let's say, a 400 gallon tank, you're gonna be able to water, you know, a couple of 100 head of cattle with this setup right here. Easily 50 to 75, okay? And you're not gonna need that big a tank either. Probably a 75 to 100 gallon tank's it. For, you know, 100 head, maybe less. Isn't that slick? So I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm sure I'll have some questions on this, but it's kind of tough to do here in front of a camera. But I think I showed you a very economical watering point. Let me do a quick comparison real quick. On a really good hydrant that you buy at any place, don't go buy a cheap one. Those really good ones that aren't going to leak in 2 years, you're going to give $130 to $150 for a hydrant. This is the same thing, only it's down on the ground. The cows can't bust it off. You know, if you got a hydrant sticking up there and they get to rubbing on that thing and snap it off, you got a mess. This is down in the ground, okay? Or if you want to keep it above the ground, put it under your fence line. The grass grows up around it, and they can't even see it. And the grass helps keep this pipe cool because it's covered in grass. Now, you wouldn't want to use that in cold weather because this, of course, would freeze solid. But in the summertime, we had one on a lease farm for 22 years, and it worked just fine. So anyway, we just didn't use it in the wintertime. Folks, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great time and a good rest of your day, and we'll see y'all down the road. Hit that subscribe button on the way out.